In this video, I'm going to be doing a rundown on the 2-track record FL template here. It's just to show you how to use it and just get a feel for what I did here. So we'll just dive in right away. So the first thing you're going to see when you open it, it's going to give you some helpful template tips. These are all tips that you really should be doing before you even start recording. It may seem like a tedious task at first, but once you master these tips, it's going to save you a lot of time and effort in the end of the song making process. As you can read here, the first thing that you're going to do is we're going to drag and drop the beat into the playlist. We're going to use the clip gain feature to turn the beat down. That's important. You want that beat sitting around -6 to -8 dB. That's what we're going to do. So I have a beat here. I'm just going to drag it in. It's a 2-track beat. You just want to make sure that you're finding the loudest part in the beat. In this case, you can see it's probably around here. Just looking at the beat in the playlist, you can see that it's definitely hitting in that 0 dB range. Again, that's not what we want. We want to turn it down. Just turn the loudest part down to -6 dB or lower, depending on what you're going for. So I'm just gonna lower it to -6 dB, and then we can open the mixer. Once we press play, we can look at the master track and just see right here if it's hitting around that -6 dB range. So let's go ahead and play it. Perfect. That's exactly where we want to sit. So let's move on to the second step, which is finding the tempo. Now in FL Studio, if you double click to find the tempo, you can just right click this option. You can select detect tempo. I found that this is a bit confusing. Like for example, if I click it, it's going to say the estimate is 97.391. And at that point, you're just guessing. So I usually don't do that option. So what I end up doing is just tapping to find the beat. What you do is you highlight a certain part in the song that you can hear the snares or the hi-hats or something that's in beat. How you highlight a certain part is you just right click on the top here and drag, and then just let go. Once you highlight a section in the beat, you want to right click, press tap, and then you just want to press play and tap along with the beat. So press play. You'll know you're done when the tempo tapper stops at a certain number and you just keep tapping. That's a good indicator to just stop and test it out. You can see here that it was at 175. To see if that's true, we're gonna go to our timeline, select a part, turn the metronome on and press play. Perfect. You'll know it's in the right tempo if you keep moving the playhead to a certain area in the song and the metronome is ticking at the same spot the beat hits. So the next thing that we're gonna do is find the key scale of this beat. There's a couple ways to do it. The free option, what I do a lot, is download an app called AutoKey. And AutoKey is a free mobile app from Antares. So I have AutoKey open, and all I'm going to do is play the beat through my speakers, and it's going to listen to your beat to find the key scale. All right, so make sure the metronome is turned off for this, and I'm going to go ahead and press the auto key. It's gonna say it's listening.
Can you hear me now?
Press play. All right, so in this case, it says it's a B minor or a D major. You can just go with this. AutoKey is pretty accurate for the most part, but in this case, I'm just checking to make sure it's accurate. This is a manual way of doing things, and you gotta really trust your ears on this part. If anything sounds off key, you'll know, and then you'll just have to redo the process. If it sounds like it's in the right key when playing the beat, it's more than likely in the right key. So what I'm gonna do is play it, and I'm gonna listen to the piano keys on here to see if it's in tune with the beat. So let's play it. So to me, everything sounded like it was in tune. So we're gonna label this as a B minor. So to make sure I remember what the key scale is, I'm gonna open the channel rack, and you can see right here, the key scale goes here. It's just an empty spot in the channel rack. I'm gonna hold shift, left click, and I am going to type in B minor. That way I know it's a B minor moving forward. If I ever have to go back into this file to make adjustments, all of a sudden I don't know what the key scale is, it's gonna tell me right there. That way I always know. Now I'm gonna go into my pitcher, which is my auto tune, and I'm just gonna make sure that this is a B minor scale. Make sure it's turned on. That way you can start recording if you need auto tune. Now that we've found the key scale and found the tempo of the beat, now we can start recording. We're gonna go to options, audio settings. We are gonna select our input and output device. Now this is gonna be different for everybody depending on what kind of audio interface you're using. In my case, I'm using the Universal Audio Thunderbolt. I keep my sample rate at 48,000 Hertz. And this part is really important. You're gonna need to have your buffer length at 128 samples or 3 milliseconds. So there's no latency when recording vocals. How I set this up is I have a record track here, and the record track is routing to the main vocals in the mixer. So when I set up the main vocals, you can see it's pretty bare bones. If you want some reverb and delay on there, you can keep these effects on. Otherwise, you can just select the main vocals and turn these off, whatever your preference is. In this case, I'm gonna turn them on because I like hearing some reverb in the microphone when I'm recording. The next thing you're gonna do is highlight the record section. You're gonna select your audio input source. In my case, it's input 3, but in your case, it might be input 1, 2, or 12, depending on what you do. Make sure you want to select a mono input source as well. So I'm going to select input 3, and right away, it's automatically going to arm for recording. I'm going to turn this off for a second. You can see that the audio signal is being picked up in the record track and being sent over to the main vocals. That way you can hear what it's sounding like with effects. So let's say I'm ready to record, make sure this is on, and you can see that it's picking up my vocals. Wonderful. You can record with the metronome on. If you want to turn the volume of the metronome down, I have it right here. It's tracked to number 60, and in that case, you can turn it down as low as you want to make sure that the metronome sound is not bleeding out of your headphones into the mic. So let's start recording vocals. I'm just going to say a couple sentences so you guys understand how it works. So with this selected, you can go up here and press the record button. Yo, this is recording. You can see that it's recording my vocals, picking everything up. It sounds awesome. So that's how it works. It automatically mutes it. If you want to unmute it, you could just select the mute tool or letter T on your keyboard. Click it. To hear it back, you just want to press play. Yo, this is recording. You can see that it's recording my vocals, picking everything up, and it sounds awesome. Yo, this is recording. You can see that it's recording my vocals. So now that we have that recorded, we could do one of two things. The first thing that I would do is if I wanted to keep that track, but I wanted to do another take, I can just simply mute it and press R on the keyboard to record. Or you could just press the record button again. I would re-record again. As you can see, it groups the tracks. So after that, select the mute tool, unmute it. You could press play, hear it back. I would re-record again. As you can see, it groups the tracks. The other thing that you could do is simply double click the track if you don't want it on number 2 anymore. So you can see here, I'm switching between track 3 and 4. If you view the mixer, you can see it's going from the main vocals to the ad-libs. So if I want it on the ad-libs, I can just leave it on track 4 and it's gonna track out to the ad-libs. It groups the tracks, so it's just a redo of this. So every track that you record, you can always target a different number in the mixer. Obviously, you don't have to just stick with the main vocals and ad-libs. You can certainly build it out. You can add your own effect, do whatever you want. But this is just made to simply help you get started, up and running, and go. I hope this helped. Have fun recording. Make fire songs.